Earlier, we made a case for why Edge should turn heel before WrestleMania 37. It seems like WWE already had that in mind. On this week's episode of SmackDown, Edge seemingly cemented his heel turn right from the start, first trying to deny Daniel Bryan a spot at WrestleMania before spearing him. The night on SmackDown ended with WWE authority figure Adam Pearce declaring that the main event of WrestleMania Night 2 would be a triple threat match contested for the Universal Championship, with Bryan getting added to the equation. The rated R superstar proceeded to assault Daniel Bryan, Jey Uso, as well as Roman Reigns. With Edge now finally a heel again, here are the real reasons why WWE pulled the trigger on it. Before we get into it, be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more wrestling content. Number 5. It's the best version of Edge. Edge's prime years in WWE as a single star took place between 2005 to WrestleMania 27 and 2011. While he had challenged for the World Championship before that, it was the ultimate opportunist persona that truly shot him into the main event scene in WWE. It started with a Money in the Bank victory and ended with a whopping 11 World Championships to his name. In that time, his best run was spent as a heel. While he fluctuated back and forth between being a face and heel between 2010-11, it was clear where his strength was. A perfect example can be seen in the final segment of this week's SmackDown. After Edge unleashed all his ruthlessness, he sat on the chair giving a few meaningful but powerful facial expressions. That can only be done when he is a heel, and it's one of many examples to prove why he's simply better off in that role. Number 4. To get more attention ahead of WrestleMania 37. Edge and Shane McMahon are the only two part-time superstars in WWE competing at WrestleMania 37 this year. For once, there's no Goldberg, no Brock Lesnar, nor will The Undertaker return. Edge has a big responsibility and he will be expected to draw fans to the stadium as well as to get Peacock subscriptions. While we doubt that Edge has the same drawing power as Goldberg or Brock Lesnar, he's still an important part of WrestleMania 37. The move to turn Edge heel was perhaps a way of creating a buzz about the match. While babyface Edge is great and will always be cheered, a heel turn gives far more attention to the match. It's almost like WrestleMania 30, when Batista and Randy Orton were the heels to Daniel Bryan's ultimate babyface character. While it's under completely different circumstances, there might be something familiar about it for Bryan. But since this will be the headliner for the second night of WrestleMania 37, there needs to be as much hype and attention as possible. Number 3. A guaranteed high-quality match for Edge. While we don't doubt that Edge vs Roman Reigns would be a high-quality matchup, adding Daniel Bryan simply guarantees it. Last year's WrestleMania main events were a bit unique. On night 1, The Undertaker faced AJ Styles in a pre-taped cinematic match, which was a huge success. On the second night, Drew McIntyre defeated Brock Lesnar in a match that lasted less than 5 minutes. Drew McIntyre vs Bobby Lashley is expected to be an explosive main event for the first night, but it may not go on for very long. If WWE wants a long WrestleMania main event that delivers, then adding Daniel Bryan to the match was a great idea. Bryan has performed on the highest level for a while now and will be heading into his second WrestleMania main event and fourth World Championship match since his debut at the Show of Shows. WWE likely wants this to be the match that's most talked about post-WrestleMania, and Daniel Bryan being involved is a winning formula. Number 2. Edge's long-term future in WWE. While Edge delivered a line saying that he isn't sure which match will be his last, WrestleMania 37 is unlikely to be it. That isn't what Edge is saying either, but the fact is that any match could indeed be his last. We're not sure who WWE plans to have him face going forward post-WrestleMania, but if he doesn't become the Universal Champion, then he will be expected to return by SummerSlam time or only in 2022. Edge seems to want to be more active, however, which means that he can finally face many modern-day top superstars. If Edge is to go forward, being a heel is the right direction and WWE knows this. It opens up a lot of different options for him down the line. It can also allow Edge to continuously help and elevate younger superstars. They don't necessarily have to beat him, nor does he have to go on a Dudley Boyz 2015-16 run, where he loses to everyone he faces. Number 1. Daniel Bryan's future compared to Edge's. Before Edge, it was Daniel Bryan who miraculously recovered from his career-ending injury and returned 2 years later in 2018. Bryan has been open about the fact that his career in wrestling is winding down and that he will likely transition into a part-time role. The story of the match is that this could be Daniel Bryan's final WrestleMania. If so, it's hard to choose better opponents than Roman Reigns and Edge. We're not sure if Bryan will win, but many will now argue that he should win over Edge because it could be the final time he ever wins a world title. The same could be said about the rated R superstar. But with Edge almost certain to have more WrestleMania appearances in the future, a heel turn is justified given Daniel Bryan's status as a babyface. Getting unfairly played out of the Universal title picture and then getting assaulted by Edge made Daniel Bryan an even bigger babyface. It will be interesting to see if the fans cheer or boo Edge at WrestleMania 37. What do you think about Edge turning heel? Be sure to leave your thoughts below.